A statement issued by the Russian embassy says the two ministers agreed that bilateral ties going back to the uncompromising struggle of the Namibian people for self-determination are expanding and rooted in friendship and mutual affection between the people. Russian foreign minister says his country is satisfied with the level of political dialogue and Russia will maintain regular contacts and dialogue into new areas. Sergey Lavrov welcomed the stepped-up contacts between the parliaments and parties of the two countries, as well as the intensified exchanges between ministries and agencies. Lavrov, however, said bilateral trade remains quite modest, and the two countries have shown mutual interest in expanding trade and implementing investment projects, which the Intergovernmental Commission on Trade and Economic Cooperation will work to promote. The meeting also pointed out extraction and processing of mineral resources, energy, the agricultural industry, fishing, public health, personnel training, culture, tourism, and sports top the list of the most promising areas of cooperation. The two ministers, according to the statement, also agreed to step up joint work to finalize the language of a number of draft intergovernmental and interagency documents. They also exchanged views on international political priorities, and just like Namibia, Lavrov said Russia supports the democratization of international relations and building them atop the UN Charter provisions and principles in their entirety and interrelation without the attempts to interpret the Charter depending on the circumstances and not as some choose to do. The two ministers discussed the need to reform the UN and its Security Council and reaffirmed their unwavering position where the legitimate interests of the African countries should be fully taken into account. Russian Foreign Affairs Minister says his government appreciates Namibia's solidarity with a number of Russia's initiatives in the UN, including the resolution on combating the glorification of Nazism, outer space and disarmament matters, and cybersecurity. On regional issues, the ministers also touched on the situation on SADC with an emphasis on the hotbeds of tension in eastern DRC and northern Mozambique. Russia believes that strengthening the sovereignty of African countries is important, highlighting the importance of everyone adhering to the principle of African solutions to African problems. The meeting recognized the two countries' mutual commitment to step up Russia-SADC cooperation and have discussed prospects for expanding cooperation within the Russia-Africa Partnership Forum. Ministers also exchanged views on the state of affairs in the Middle East in the context of the sharp escalation of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict and Ukraine.